Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Harshit, and Android One started as an initiative for the emerging markets 3 years ago. Now, with Google partnering up with Xiaomi, we have the Xiaomi Mi A1, or more accurately, Xiaomi Mi 5X with stock Android. Xiaomi is also making a big deal about that much hyped up dual camera setup on the Mi A1. I've been using this phone for almost 3 weeks now, and I have a lot to talk about it. And before even starting this review, if you want to have a quick look at its box contents, I will leave a card and a link for the unboxing of the Xiaomi Mi A1. So Mi A1 retails for rupees 15,000 or 230 US dollars, and it has a lot to offer in this price range. A dual camera setup, a solid design, excellent display, and last but not the least, stock Android. One thing to note is that the black variant is made in China while the gold variant is made in India. And talking about the design, the Mi A1 has a unibody aluminum design with matte finish. There are no plastic strips on the back like the Redmi Note 4, and overall it's a premium looking smartphone. The fingerprint sensor sits comfortably in the middle while the dual camera module is budging in the left corner and has a nice glossy rim to make that feature instead of a flaw. There's obviously a dual tone LED flash alongside the camera module. Overall, the build quality on the backside is premium and does not disappoint. One thing I'd specifically like to point out is that the buttons are not that tactile on the Mi A1, though they are not bad either. But I would have liked more tactile buttons. The Mi A1 looks like a typical Xiaomi specimen even if it doesn't run MIUI. You'll spot the usual arrangement above the screen where the earpiece is flanked by a notification LED, a bunch of sensors, and a front 5 megapixel camera. The bottom of the Mi A1 has the USB Type-C port, the mouthpiece, the audio jack, and the loudspeaker. Enough said, the build quality is awesome, although the phone is slippery and I prefer a case from Nelican to protect it. I'll leave a link down below for this case in case you are interested in buying one. Now coming on to the display, we get a 5.5-inch Full HD IPS LCD display with a pixel density of 403 pixels per inch, a pretty common choice in Xiaomi smartphones. The display pushes the brightness up to a maximum of 450 nits. I don't have any problems with the display, except under direct sunlight the display tends to be washed out, but the sunlight legibility is okay. The color reproduction is also good and it can produce very deep blacks. Mi A1 also has Gorilla Glass 3, but I would still prefer a tempered glass for my Mi A1 in order to protect it. Now coming on to performance and software, Mi A1 nails it in the performance department, especially in the budget price range. So we have got the Snapdragon 625 with Adreno 506 GPU, a popular choice for every budget Xiaomi smartphone we have seen this year. 4 gigs of RAM, 64 gigs of internal storage, along with micro SD card slot, which is hybrid in nature and it can support up to 128 gigs of internal storage. Now these specs run on stock Android, so majority of its day-to-day tasks are really smooth, but there are a lot of bugs in the software. Though majority of them has been fixed in the September update, which was more than 1 gigabyte. Now this brings us to the software. Xiaomi has promised the Mi A1 to get the Android Oreo and Android P upgrade when it is released. This can certainly be believed as Google will be handling the software of the Mi A1 and Mi A1 is their flagship Android One device. So software updates are a must. I have already received 2 software updates for my Mi A1. I was initially experiencing many bugs in the software which was unexpected from stock Android. But after the September update, majority of them have been fixed. My experience with stock Android has been great, but due to stock Android animations, the fingerprint unlock seems low, though there's no problem with the fingerprint scanner. The stock launcher is just like the Google Pixel launcher, no bloatware, almost everything is handled by Google, and we also get the Google Assistant and the unlimited storage from Google Photos. Only the infrared powered Mi remote and the camera is handled by Xiaomi. And one thing to note is that the audio output through the headphone jack is one of the best I've ever used in a smartphone, and the speaker is loud enough too. But there are also certain problems with this device. Like the network signal keeps on fluctuating from time to time, which is very annoying. I hope this gets fixed through software updates. And I also returned the first Mi A1 I received, as there was a lot of distortion through the headphone jack when nothing was playing. Once I got my replacement device, everything was fine except the network signal reception, which tends to be a problem in many devices as I've read online. This needs to be fixed as early as possible, as this is a major problem and not acceptable from a brand like Xiaomi. Now coming on to battery life, this phone has 3080 mAh battery. This phone does not support fast charging, which is a big disappointment. But Snapdragon 625 is known for its efficient power consumption, and coupled with stock Android, the results are not that bad. The phone took almost 2 hours to charge, which isn't too bad. I almost got 6 hours of screen on time. Definitely other Xiaomi phones have a better battery life like the Xiaomi Redmi Note 4, but still the battery life isn't too bad. It will last you through a day. And there are certain things missing like NFC, so no Android Pay support, no FM radio, wireless charging, but I'm okay with that. Now finally let's talk about the much hyped up dual camera modules, which are the highlighting feature of the smartphone. Now I have mixed feelings about the camera, some of which is good and some not that good. Before even talking about the camera, I would like to state that the low light pictures on this thing are a mess. On the back we have a pair of dual 12 megapixel cameras, one of which has 26mm f2.2 lens, while the other telephoto lens has a focal length of 50 mm with an aperture of f2.6. The camera app has also been made by Xiaomi, and there are a variety of modes like HDR mode, portrait mode, and a bunch of filters are also available. The pictures through this thing are good in appropriate lighting. The telephoto lens does its job in good lighting but suffers in low light and switches to the normal camera in low lighting conditions. Same goes for the portrait mode. It works well in good lighting conditions or under natural light but fails to take portrait shots in low lighting conditions. The camera suffers a lot in low lighting conditions and there is significant amount of grain. The autofocus is very fast though. If you want to increase the camera's dynamic range, you can turn on HDR mode, which ups the dynamic range and sharpens the images. But do note that you have to keep your hand still while taking HDR pictures, as there is no stabilization, so images can get blurry. Mi A1 also takes some time to process the shots, so it is also difficult to shoot fast moving objects. And there is also no auto HDR mode, but Xiaomi can certainly add it through a software update in the near future. The camera can also shoot 4K video at 30 frames per second with a bitrate of almost 41 megabit per second, while the audio recorded isn't that great and there are traces of compression while recording a video. While there is support for 1080p 60fps footage and the 1080p 30fps footage records at 20 megabit per second. The front camera has a resolution of 5 megapixel and it can record 1080p video. The front facing camera is just average, nothing special here. I will leave you with some of the sample pictures I took with this device at the end of this video. So in the end, the Xiaomi Mi A1 is a very good phone which extends Google Android One program in the right direction. I expect Xiaomi to fix the network issues and camera performance through software updates as soon as possible. Though I would still prefer Redmi Note 4 over this as it offers a much better battery life with the same specs except the dual camera setup at a much lower price. Well, your decision should depend upon the software as this is where there is a major difference. Moto G5s Plus is also a good option. Well, do let me know which device would you prefer and if you like the Xiaomi Mi A1. Share this video with someone who is looking to buy the Mi A1 and do subscribe and press the bell icon to never miss out on my new videos. My name is Harshit and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.